Hello and welcome. There has been an outrage over the L&T Chairman's comment. Now, for the benefit of our viewers, what was this comment? Where was it said? Well, the L&T Chairman's comment was during an internal interaction. This was when he responded to an employee's question. The employee asked him why the company mandated working on Saturdays. To which the chairman said, "I regret I'm not able to make you work on Sundays. To be honest, if I can make you work on Sundays, I will be more happy. I work on Sundays also. Also, what do you do sitting at home?" he said. "How long can you stare at your wife? How long can wives stare at their husbands?" Now, this statement has sparked an outrage, a debate all over. The L&T chairman also goes on to say, while he's responding to this employee, that get to office and start working. There has been a backlash over this comment from all walks of life. We have seen Deepika Padukone say, "Shocking to see people in such senior positions make such statements." Goenka also saying that why not rename Sundays to Sun Duty then and make day off a mythical concept altogether. So we have seen all walks of life. We've seen Jwala Gutta also saying, why shouldn't he stare at his wife? And, it is sad that people at the highest positions aren't taking mental health, mental rest seriously enough. Jwala Gutta also goes on to say that making such misogynistic statements and exposing themselves so openly, when people are making such statements, they're exposing themselves so openly, she says. And of course, the L&T organization, Larsen and Toubro, L&T has defended themselves and their chairman's remarks in a statement saying that, look, this is all towards nation building. They have, of course, said that this reflects the larger ambition of the organization. So this really has sparked a lot of debate, and we have a lot of key questions. To answer all of those, I'm joined by Deepak Raheja. He is the director for Hope Care India. Thank you for your time. Mitali Nikor, senior economist, and Sanchita Mukherjee, senior business economist. First to you, Dr. Deepak Raheja. This, of course, has asked, a lot of people have been asking, have been debating this since Narayana Murthy's comment about work hour and about work-life balance. So has this again reiterated the importance of work-life balance, safeguarding employee well-being really, and why mental health matters at work?
So I think it is undisputed that all the three are true. I mean, safeguarding the interest, looking after your employees, ensuring work-life balance. And I think net, all of this amalgamates into a more benefiting organization because to each effort that goes into an employee's assistance program, they say it pays back eightfold to the employer in terms of preventing loss of attrition, making sure employees are happier, they are working more productively, they connect with the employers and employees better. But I think it's very important that we see the statement in the right context. Maybe the statement is prompted by trying to sound business in terms of, I don't think somebody in that senior position is wanting the employees to work 7 days, 24/7. That's not possible and that's not doable, but it's probably shaking up a particular employee and waking him out of a slumber. And I think management does that when they love the employee and they don't want attrition or needing to shed off the employee. But at the same time, I think it's very important that work-life balance continues to take a very, very important position, especially in the context when we are working with a multi-generational workforce where we have baby boomers, we have Gen Z, Gen X, the millennials, and all of them have different understanding of work-life balance is. So I think it's very important for us to keep communication going, because at the end of it, the organization, the employer, the institution is going to benefit with this diverse workforce, but at the same time to understand what their needs are. Somebody may be happy working in a hybrid mode. Somebody may be happy, doing the conventional model. Somebody who's a baby boomer, who's born much earlier, values how work happens in the workplace from 9 to 5. They worry about their security. They worry about their retirement plan, compared to a millennial, who'll have a totally different expectation from what the employer should offer. So I think it is very important. And I think the organizations are waking up to the fact to understand that eventually it's going to have a consequence on the mental health needs and the mental health morbidity. The absence of mental illness is not equivalent to mental health. And I think we are becoming proactive to understand that it's not just mental illness, which is diagnosable. And we say this person has a clinical depression or has an anxiety disorder. But for employees who are not mentally healthy, will jeopardize their productivity. So it's important for us to create programs that will fit in the right need of the employees, making them not making them not just come to work because they have to come to work and work a particular number of hours. I think it will increase productivity and their connectivity with the organization and the employer.
Right, Mitali, do you agree? And also, how does one work with a multi-generational workforce, different expectations altogether, different needs, and sometimes like different dialogue and different approach to just work, as it were?
Absolutely, Sakshi. First of all, thank you so much for bringing me into this conversation. I mean, at the end of the day, let's first take a step back and just look at the absolute statement that was made. I think overall, this kind of a statement from a senior leader, of the industry, of a growing economy like India, needs to be far more nuanced. I mean, of course, he wants his employees to be more productive, and that productivity gain, in that generation, they thought, that productivity gain will come with more hours of work. But today, we have so many different tools at our disposal. We have artificial intelligence tools at our disposal. We have, internet-based tools at our disposal. We have technology at our disposal. So it's not necessary that, these tools can be deployed to enhance the productivity of employees. It's not necessary that that productivity comes from 90-hour work weeks. Second, the important thing is what he said about how long are you going to stare at your wife's face or your husband's face. I think that is, again, a slightly outdated statement, because today we are talking about diverse workforces. We are talking about workforces where people of all genders, people of all religions, people of all communities and different regions are working together in, organizations like L&T. So again, there is a need for the leader of the organization to be more nuanced when he is talking about, oh, how long are you going to stare at your wife's face? I mean, it can be a joke, but obviously not said in the serious context of this. And I think thirdly, when we're talking about the expectations of different generations, I mean, I particularly lead a team which is full of Gen Zs. And, this is their first job or second job when they're coming to work with me. Their first expectation is flexibility. They say, I don't mind working on Sunday if there is a deliverable due on Monday, but then I will take Monday off. And, as a small organization, I can give that to them. Now, if L&T wants its employees to work on Sundays, sure, why don't you introduce a compensatory leave policy, which, allows the employees to take off when they want to, and then they can work on a Sunday also if they want to. So, trusting your employees, what Gen X and, the baby boomers probably don't understand is that millennials and Gen Z like employers who trust their employees to deliver, and who create systems within, workspaces and within their organizations where employees can have that responsibility to deliver. So this is something which, I would really argue for. And of course, I would argue for less, of a presumption that the employee would be male. The employee can be of any gender and of any predisposition.
Absolutely. And, Sanchita, to you then also with the statements that were made, crucial to acknowledge that today when one goes back home, one has enough chores to do. And, how would you look at that statement that was made?
Thank you for having me here, Sakshi. Very, very important debate today. And over my 2 decades of working in corporate India and then being an entrepreneur, I've worked with multi-generational families, clients, organizations, all of that. It's very, very important to know that whilst I do not agree with the manner in which this statement was made, I am completely in agreement with what Dr. and Mitali both said. I mean, choice of words, the way it was delivered, a lot of people in that generation also have not gotten an education and a training in how to make politically correct statements, which are not misogynistic, which do not reek of patriarchy, which do not, ruffle so many feathers, something which is more dignified and elegant in the way it is delivered. Having said that, I think the larger sentiment with which L&T has defended is also something we should not ignore, right? Now, when this entire debate erupted for the first time, when Mr. Narayan Murthy had made this statement, these are legendary icons in the Indian business front. I mean, Mr. Narayan Murthy, Mr. Subrahmanyan, we have to understand and respect the fact that they're legendary to an extent that they have been crucial in nation building and bringing our economy to the 5th largest economy in the world in today's date, when all of our surpluses would be happily absorbed by Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia. They're sitting there literally with their mouths open to take any slack from India that they can get, right? So these are the stalwarts who have made us the 4th largest economy in the world in today's date in purchasing power parity terms, right? So let's not ignore that. Definitely the delivery was a little crude and, it can be worked upon. What I'm planning to say is that, intergenerational workshops is very, very critical in today's date, what Vitali highlighted. You need to have ice-breaking sessions. You need to have mentorship sessions, because a lot of people in the previous generation feel that, this entire middle-class income explosion that has happened in India over the last 20 years, a lot of millennials and Gen Zs who are they're coming into this kind of an economic boon from the point of view of privilege and entitlement. Also, that is their point of view, right? So we must be cognizant instead of reacting always to headlines, quick on the go, fast figure responses on Twitter. Let's understand, let's peel off the layers. A lot of previous generation feels that the newer generations actually have the luxury to even talk about mental health. Maybe their generations did not have that luxury. The struggle was so much more greater, right? But having said that, the current generation, they are focusing on self-care. They are focusing on mental health. They are focusing on a work-life balance, which is also previous generations should also be mindful of. So I think setting up a cohesive atmosphere with due processes in place, leave policies more defined, labor law acts more defined, and having intergenerational conversations, dialogues, mentorship programs, so that each generation can actually learn and take home the strengths. If the baby boomers are saying that we have been mentally very tough, and we have put in our all at the expense of even our family to do everything for our company, maybe that's their point of view. They're coming from a position of strength where they're able to deliver with very hard work, tenacity, and resilience, and they're proud of it. But the way they're saying it is possibly not politically right. Similarly, mental health is a pandemic that nobody's talking about. So if the current generation is pushing back on that front, it needs to be acknowledged.
Right. Very, very crucial points there. Thank you so much, all of you, for sharing your thoughts. And as this debate rages on, of course, the importance on work-life balance and mental health more than ever before.